Are you wondering how to become a flight attendant with no experience? The answer is pretty simple, and I'm not gonna wait until the end of the video to tell you this. It's obvious and straightforward. You need to gain the experience. But do not rush to switch off the video, because today I'm going to share with you a cabin crew roadmap that can prepare you for the role within just 6 months. Whether you're a fresh graduate with zero experience behind your shoulders or someone who faced airlines rejection recently, it will be useful for you to set everything accurately in your head and start improving your skills accordingly. Step by step, we will cover everything you need to do to become a cabin crew member with amazing airlines. But guys, please stop considering interviews as a lottery. Work towards ensuring your success will become a natural outcome. And I'm here to help. My name is Zara. Subscribe to the channel if you are into aviation passion and personal growth. And let's start with the base flight attendant requirements. I know many YouTube gurus advise starting video with the most exciting parts to catch viewers' attention, but honestly I don't care about these tricks. I'd like to clarify the requirements first because it's super important, and let you understand why. Here are the basic requirements for almost all airlines. There is slight difference between them. For example, for one airline, the flight attendant should meet the minimum height requirement as 162 centimeters. For another is 150 centimeters, like every other airlines. But on average, you should meet the following requirements. Your age should be above 21 to be eligible to serve alcohol. You need to have a minimum of high school education. You should not have visible scars or tattoos while wearing the uniform. You should be fluent in written and spoken English. Your height should be at least 160 centimeters tall and able to reach 212 centimeters high. You shouldn't have diseases or criminal records in your profile that may affect your working visas. You need to have at least 1 year of customer service experience. You need to be confident in water and preferably able to swim. You need to be okay with serving alcohol, and you have to be a good-looking person with a nice smile. The last requirement is something that airlines may not state out loud, but Etihad Airways mentions it as excellent personal presentation style and image. Emirates Airline doesn't say anything about it, but if you look at the cabin crew, you will notice that most of them have beautiful smiles. And as a former flight attendant, I can state that you need to smile a lot during your career. So be ready. That's why I put this requirement on the list. Now go through all these requirements and be honest with yourself. Do you meet them or not? If you meet all of them, then great. Relax and keep watching the video. If you have a few that don't match you, ask yourself if there is room for improvement, like learning English or learning swimming or wearing tooth brackets. If yes, then still keep watching, we can work on it. And if you have some that cannot be met in any case, like having a removable tattoo on your face, or your minimum height is 150 centimeters, or maybe you have criminal records, then either search for airlines that are okay with that, or focus on other fields that don't care about it, like software development or digital marketing and so on. Why is it important to be honest with yourself? Because once you fail your first assessment, you need to understand why it happens. What if you are tall and smart, but your smile is not good enough? Who will tell you the truth? You will go from one assessment to another, just wasting your time, while you could take actions to improve it right after your first failure. And the same applies to English knowledge. So guys, evaluate your capabilities and make decisions accordingly. If you are clear with these subjects, then here are some requirements for different airlines. You can pause the video and read them once again more attentively. How to gain 1 year of customer service experience in less time. Sounds like a lie, but let's think why recruiters require us to have a minimum year of experience in customer service. During your trainings, they will not teach you how to deal with customers. or how to act if passenger is shouting at you, what to do if you spilled a drink on someone, and so on. During your trainings, you will be familiarized with standards and procedures, like what time to serve meal, how to arrange the meal tray, or with which hand to offer a meal, and so on. But you will not be taught what exactly you need to answer. The airlines expect that you gain the skill of communication with customers during your past experience. That's why in final interview you will be asked such questions as how you exceeded customer expectations, what challenges you had and how you handled them, and so on. So based on this, we can come up to conclusion that it doesn't really matter the exact time you worked in your past, but it does matter if you had a chance to experience these kind of challenges and did you learn how to handle them. So for example, if you are working as a waitress right now, do not consider it just as a job. Consider it as a real customer service training. And if you don't work or you don't have any experience, go to your favorite cafe and get there a job. Prepare yourself a list of important questions that you need to be ready to answer on your cabin crew interviews. Simulate all the situations with the real customers. In this way, you will boost your customer service skills and you can be ready for the position in less than a year. Maybe it will take 4 to 6 months for you to feel more confident about service. And in addition, it will let you to feel your capabilities of serving people, because some individuals just cannot stand it. Additionally, to gain more general understanding of your future cabin crew challenges with customers, I highly recommend you to read my book Cabin Crew Solutions. It contains 50 of the most challenging situations on board, including cabin crew exact answers and possible reactions of the passenger. For example, if a passenger complains about noisy neighbors, how would you deal with it? And what would you say to both parts of the conflict? Ideally, you should feel the situation and solve it accordingly using your skills from previous experience, in particular English vocabulary. But if you are not sure that you can react quickly and come up with a solution on your own, so prepare yourself in advance and read this book from cover to cover. Consider acting out those dialogues to feel the role of the confident cabin crew. And if you will use a list of questions about your customer service experience during your actual work, make notes, record the answers, and gain understanding of how these challenges can be transferred in the aviation field, you would know and feel what recruiters expect to hear from you. And if your English will be at the appropriate level, there is no chance for you to fail this part. But let's talk about English in more detail. Have you ever noticed that most airlines mention the required level of English knowledge as fluent, written and spoken? But when it comes to studying, how will you understand that your level is sufficient to get hired? So with intermediate English level, you can read and write some particular words. With upper intermediate, you can read and write more fluently, and with advanced level, of course, you can speak and write as professional. So ideally, the better your level, the higher your chances. At the beginning, I would advise targeting for level B2 for yourself, but if you have B1, it's still okay. You can apply for a cabin crew position if your English vocabulary contains the right words. Now pause the video and read the text you see on the screen. How many words don't you know from this text? If you know all of them, don't even doubt in your English, but never stop improving it, because sometimes we can read easily, but when it comes to speaking, we are like, for example, like me, and this time delay in delivering words from your mouth sometimes can ruin a recruiter's impression. But as for people who don't understand some words from this text, I definitely recommend you to learn them. If you start reading and studying these particular words that most of the cabin crew use during the flights, I'm 100% sure you will become shortlisted sooner than if you will study general English. I mean, this information is for those who want to become flight attendants ASAP. When my Instagram direct messages were opened, I often received this kind of messages like, "Hi, I failed the interview in the first round and want to reply in 6 months. What should I do?" Unfortunately, I did not have time to explain it personally, so I record this video for everyone. Use these 6 months to upgrade yourself. Do not rush to go to the next assessment day, because if you failed, it's not because recruiters are blind and could not see the gem in you. Let's be honest, it's because you did not perform well. Either your English did not sound confident, or your body language was telling something different, or maybe you didn't have a bond with the group. Whatever the reason, if you failed, it means you have something to work on and improve. What to do with English is easy, just study hard. For example, read this book from cover to cover. Also use English learning apps continuously. For example, head to the italki web service, start writing posts, and let native speakers check them. This kind of exercise can stimulate your brain to create new sentences more efficiently. You can also find people to talk and practice speaking with. It's all for free. When I studied English for the first time to get a job in Abu Dhabi, I also used this app, and I was talking to one Italian guy for a while. He also was studying English, so we practiced together, and it helped me a lot. Also, for better results, you can take a personal tutor for around $7 to $15 per lesson, so you can plan your English studying process within your budget. Even 4 or 5 lessons per month can make a difference. Just let your tutor to give you a lot of homework for a week, and during your next lesson, he can check it. Alright, all the useful links you can find below the video. I hope you got the point. Never stop learning English. And if your current level is weak, then put more effort into it. However, English knowledge is just half of the way to the cabin crew job offer. You may say that some native speakers also tend to fail interviews, and in these cases, most of the time, it happens just because they couldn't show their team player skills. And here's why. The main reasons why people tend to fail group exercises are: they talk too much, they don't listen to others, they are too quiet, they always change their mind, they are too strict and concentrated only on their opinion, they don't smile, their body language shows a closed or protected position, they ask to be a leader but don't perform like one, or they didn't want to be a leader but act like one, they argue with others, or they fake politeness, and so on. This list can be much longer, and as you can see, some of the points are opposite to each other. So that means that you need to know the measure of what skills should be applied in a teamwork and what should not be. Native speakers and experienced cabin crew may sometimes fail the group exercises because they tend to feel overconfident. For instance, I passed interviews with Air Astana, Qatar Airways, and Wizz Air all on first attempts. I made it twice to the final interview with Emirates, and I failed the group exercise only once when I came to the assessment day in less than 6 months. I was stressed about wine, I wasn't myself, and I was too quiet. But at the same time, I thought that, come on, you cannot fail the group exercise, I cannot fail the group exercise, because I always pass it. And I was sure I can pass it even without being active. But it turned out that it was my first failure in teamwork. Nonetheless, I have successfully passed another interviews with different airlines, so I'm telling you not to brag, but because I want you to understand that this quality is not something that you can learn from the course or be taught by someone. It comes with your personality. It took me whole life to develop this teamwork skill in myself. From the 8th to 11th grade, I was living in a school boarding with my classmates, and at the university I was also sharing the apartment with my friends. So of course during this time I've learned how to be a part of a team, and I think it's genuinely in my blood. So if you fail this part, or to say in a positive way, if you want to pass this part, group exercise, you have to analyze and honestly ask yourself, are you a team player? Really? If you have at least one doubt, then you need to work on developing this quality in yourself. It will always benefit you, even in other fields, not only as a cabin crew member. So what actions can you take to develop this skill in yourself? Read appropriate books like Leaders Eat Last, The Ideal Team Player, Emotional Intelligence, and so on. Take some Coursera courses. Take some acting classes in your city, not to pretend like you are a team player, but usually in these kinds of activities you closely work with others, and you can also learn a lot about self-presentation and so on. Participate in quiz activities or play Mafia, whatever will make you feel more comfortable in practicing and evaluating your team player skills. Apply to different airlines just to practice the real group exercises more. Try to be creative in finding a solution that will fit you. If you're not sure about your teamwork skills, then consider taking a session with personal coach or a psychologist to identify the areas that can be developed. I'm sure it will help. From all that has been said above, choose whatever is suitable for you. My only advice will be, do not ignore your fails and do not think that you just were not lucky enough. From my story you can see what lucky truly means, and it took me whole life to develop this good team player skills. Before heading to the next assessment, ensure that you have worked on improving yourself, and if you pass this stage, it means all cabin crew requirements are met and only final interview is left. During a final interview, you can be asked general questions such as, why do you want to become a flight attendant? What interests you about working in the aviation industry? What do you think are the essential qualities of a successful flight attendant, and how do you possess them? What do you see as the biggest challenge of working as a flight attendant, and how do you plan to overcome them? Additionally, there will be particular questions about your previous experience, so you can pause the video and read them more carefully. Here are some approximate questions. I think during my interviews with different airlines, I have been asked most of these questions, and as I have customer service experience and I hold a bachelor degree in service management, answering these questions is something natural for me. That's why I advise you to keep these questions in mind while you are still working at your current customer service job. Search for more questions, and maybe when I will have time, I will help you with it and prepare it for you. Let's see. But I want to bring your attention to the moment that I reached Emirates final interview twice, but afterwards I was rejected. And you know why? Because in my opinion, I cannot answer the question why I left Qatar Airways. Sometimes, even when I see my photo gallery and all those happy moments from my Qatar Airways time, I ask myself, why did I leave Qatar Airways? Of course, I know the answer, but when I say to the Emirates recruiters, they see it as a red flag and reject me. Maybe someday I will share this story with you. Meanwhile, if you have watched till this time, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to hear more about successful cabin crew journey, which you can learn from, adapt, or repeat. See you.